You shorten everything, like firefighters,
Fireys, ambulance, ambos. Owns this building firm, and this summer we're going to go to Alaska. I don't have a foreskin anymore, you know. So as you guys would know, I live in America, obviously. This is my wife, Rachel. She is American. We got married almost a year ago. A year in July we got married, so it was the middle of summer in the northern hemisphere. I've been wanting to make this video for a minute, and the weather outside isn't the best and my ankle's still kind of bugging, so we're going to make this video talking about what it's like being married to an American, and then obviously she's an American and married to an Australian. Some of the main differences, like American women are very forward. There's no beating around the bush, whereas Aussie chicks back home, like you have to play the game, you have to chase, you have to like beat around the bush, you have to do the whole thing. American women are very forward. She was the one that asked me for my number with that first time we met each other and hung out. She's like,
was it your number or was it your socials? It was your number, huh?
Why would it be my social security number if I didn't have a social?
Oh my god.
my socials.
Can I get your social?
No, you were like,
no,
didn't
your
you?
socials, like.
Like Instagram. You didn't even ask that. You were straight up like,
can
I get your number? And I was like,
I
oh yeah, of course.
Again.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly, yeah, like Australian women are like, kind of like, you have to make the first move and do everything and they'll kind of follow. So American women are very much solid in what they want.
I'd say there's obviously everywhere.
Yeah,
like women that are back and forth with that.
For sure. Because
I don't think I know like a ton of women who are, I know a lot of women that want to be chased would rather have the man do the...
Yeah.
But I guess, I don't know. I just feel like, why waste time?
Yeah, well, that's my experience anyways, that American women are very like, oh. Another interesting thing is a little bit of history for you guys. There's a thing, they don't like to talk about it, but there's a thing called the Battle of Brisbane. And it happened between US Marines and the Australian Army. Basically what happened, I can't remember when it was like sometime in the early 1900s obviously, but a lot of US Marines were coming over and they wore uniforms, their wages were higher and they tipped. So they'd go out on the town and everyone would be like, oh my God, the Americans are here, like be on your best behavior because they're going to tip, they're going to dress really well. And back then the Australian Army didn't really pay that well, and they didn't have uniforms. So what ended up happening was there was a bunch of US Marines drinking in their pubs, and then ultimately a bunch of US Marines stealing all the women. And then it all erupted one day in Brisbane and a massive riot broke out. Someone died. Someone got shot with a shotgun. They died. But it's called the Battle of Brisbane. Look it up. And after the war, a lot of Australian women actually went with the US Marine husbands back to California or back to the States. So Australian women love American men. There's more chivalry with American men, in my opinion. And I don't blame them, because Aussie blokes in the culture is pretty much go to work, finish work, go to the pub, and then you're at the pub until late. The women are at home alone with the kids. So a lot of Australian women were open to the idea of having a male around. This dog is crazy. Get out of here. Both her parents have traveled to Australia, and her mum warned her, because ever since she was a little girl, she was like, I'm going to marry an Australian man.
Always.
And her mum was like, oh, be careful, they're very chauvinistic and they can be blah, 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 blah. Yeah, not all of them, but
they
can be.
They can be that. They're a little bit more on the stuck-up side, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know what it is.
But then we had some foreign exchange students back in my high school, and most of them were from Perth. I think a few maybe were from Sydney as well, but in my opinion, they were so sweet. They had the charm. They did, the kissing on the cheek.
Yeah, that's the first time like someone had kissed her on the cheek.
Which is weird though. Prior to that, I mean, I have little notebooks still from elementary school where I wrote, where they ask you like, where do you want to visit when you're older? And like Australia was always my number one. Like there's proof. Ever since I was little, I've just had this fixation on Australia. I think it's obviously a very beautiful country. And then as I got older, just obviously other things like the men and the accents and became more of an interest. And then with meeting those guys in high school, I was just, I was like, yep, that's it for me. Like, I know one day I'm going to marry an Australian, and you can even ask old friends anybody, of mine, and they will vouch for that. So
it's funny because we
manifested this.
Basically. we had like an excursion of like some American students come to our high school. And I remember everybody like not liking them.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember you telling me this.
It's just coming to me now. This is back when I was in like year 10 or something. And like there was all these Americans with their baseball fitted hats and stuff, and they came into the school and everyone was like, "Oh, go home, you Yanks."
Really?
Yeah. There's some like slight cultural differences though. Like when we argue, I'm very much like, "Yeah, righto, mate, whatever." And like I feel like that used to kind of fly right over your head before, and then now you kind of start you're understanding like when I've reached my limit. You're like, because I'll start saying things like that.
Oh, yeah. Well, you shut down. You're
Yeah.
very much like, and I'm like, no, we're going to fix this right now.
Yeah, she doesn't let up. Like,
Which
in
is
my...
kind of, I don't know. Both of us need to work
in
on
my experience of like Australian women, they can be very submissive, and American women are not.
I think some can be.
Some
Again,
can be,
it's
probably,
like,
yeah.
I doubt that's like obviously a whole, but maybe just your personal
I don't
experience.
know. Maybe it's just my personal
Is that with all the
experience. I
American
don't
women
know.
that you've experienced, though? Are you saying that, or have you had some? Super
Yeah,
submissive American
to
women?
you know, the majority for sure.
I can be.
Yeah, you can be. No, but we're like we're honestly like this. We're
Oh, yeah.
like this
best
every
friends.
day. Honestly, I wouldn't
Besties.
choose anybody else in the world to tie the knot with. I'm very, very happy. But what was your first impression? Like, what was your first impression of me when like you first met me?
You were tall, handsome. And it was weird because, like, obviously you noticed me at the tattoo shop prior to me noticing you.
I just didn't say anything.
Because I just was in my own little world. And I think, but when I look back on it, I do remember you there. And I remember you walking in one day and I was like, whoa, you know, and obviously the height gets me because I am a tall girl myself.
Yeah,
so
she's
like,
5'11".
So I was taken back by that. And then I had, so I don't know if people don't know the story, but I was friends with the owner of the shop that he worked with and became close with the owner's girlfriend. And so she had taken me out a weekend prior to us meeting, and we had met some Australians at the bar.
They're wankers. They're from like
Yeah.
Perth or something.
Yeah, they were.
No, I think they were from Melbourne. They were like Melbourne
yeah.
wankers.
And I obviously had told her, I was like, oh my God, love the accent. She's like, oh, you need to meet Sean. And so she set it up for me to go to the shop and meet him the following weekend. And it was honestly love at first sight. Like we literally
Pretty
looked at
much,
each other. But
yeah.
yeah, once I heard you talk, game over. And you were really honestly down to earth, and I really liked that about you as well. I feel like sometimes men in LA, and because I'm originally from LA,
she's an LA baby. Yeah.
Yeah, just have this thing about them where they're, I think, really into themselves, very
very
shallow,
self-absorbed.
and not all of them again, but just I don't know, for the most
Well,
part.
it's LA,
guys that I've
like-
gone to, like to high school with and stuff
Yeah.
as well.
Go figure. It's Los Angeles. They're gonna
And you
be
were very like modest.
yeah,
Really,
well,
really modest.
That's the Australian in me.
Very, yeah, you know, like you weren't over the top. Super easy to talk to,
Yeah.
and had a lot of substance behind you. Like you had, you know, there was just a lot about you to like learn and get to know, and I was very intrigued. And yeah, I mean, I just remember thinking like, I need to get to know this man more. Like it wasn't just a pretty face and a nice accent. Like once I started talking to you, I was like, whoa, there's like a lot more to you, and just different from the
Yeah, I feel
American men that I know. So
yeah, I feel like Australians are generally pretty laid back and down to earth for sure. I can see how some, you know, American guys could be kind of like, oh, my dad owns this building firm, and this summer we're going to go to Alaska to do, who cares? Like, you want to like, I don't know.
I drive this car. and
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
have all this design.
I don't have a foreskin anymore, you know?
Maybe.
When I first seen her, I was definitely taken back. At first I was like, wow, this girl's really tall.
I looked way different when we met.
She was
was
like skinny,
skinny.
brunette, like different style, everything. Like she was totally different. From what her family has told me and her friends, this is more like how she was before
yeah.
all the trauma.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Before everything, basically. This is like the, you know, this
I
is
wasn't in the
Rachel.
best place in my life, yeah, at the time
Yeah,
that we met.
yeah, so-
this is very telling of, you know, where Sean
She's healed
he
now,
healed me,
basically.
and yeah, I mean, really, obviously.
But
that's a lifelong journey.
I was just like, I didn't, because she's so attractive. And usually when I meet a girl that's like very, very attractive, I'm like, oh, she's probably got a line of blokes in her phone, texting her, ringing her, whatever, ready to go. So I was kind of like just playing it cool, like just see where this goes kind of thing. Don't be too bummed if nothing comes out of it, but blah, blah, blah. So that was my approach with you, is that I'm just going to play it cool and then like ultimately see where it goes. And if it doesn't go anywhere, then I wouldn't be too bummed. I was like, yeah, how it happened was she come into the tattoo shop with my old boss's girlfriend, and we caught eyes. And we both looked, like I was tattooing, and then I looked up, and then she looked at me at the same time, and we both locked eyes, and we both smiled. And at that point, I told her this. I felt like an electric shock run from like through my body, basically, and like something lit up in my chest. I was like, "Whoa, what is this feeling?" And then they left. They went to the restaurant on the corner there. And as we were cleaning up the shop, my boss texted me and was like, "Hey, come down to 1909 and have a Sprite." And then I knew he was texting me that because she was there. And I was like, damn, this is going to be...
Oh, yeah. So I knew I was meeting Sean, but Sean didn't know he was meeting me.
I had no idea she was just like dropping by.
Yeah.
So like we cleaned up the shop. I sat in my car for like 5 minutes just contemplating this. I was just like, I can just go home right now and then just... not have to worry about this feeling, or I can just go out and see what this feeling is directing me to, and then see what happens. Then I ended up just being like, you know what? I'm just going to take a deep breath, get out of my car, walk down, walk in with my chest out, and then just see what's up. And I did, and now we're here. So I listened to my gut with you, and now we're married. Very, very happy.
Yeah,
but
just like that. A month later, he asked me to be his girlfriend.
Yeah, it was about a month later I asked her out.
No, literally, because we met on the 8th. We met on the 8th of October, and you asked me out on Halloween.
Oh yeah, I asked her out on Halloween.
And you didn't even plan to do it. You had a whole plan, but you just
didn't I?
Yeah, I remember you. It was that night you were leaving. You actually were leaving, and you whispered, "I love you" through the glass window.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then you left, and I was like, "Did he really just do that?"
Yeah.
And then you called me, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And then you came back.
I come back, and then we hung out for a bit more, and then I asked you out. I drove back to Anaheim.
Rue.
This dog is too much. I think sometimes because I'm so laid back and so easygoing, she trips on me sometimes. Because she'll be like,
mad at me?
Yeah, oh my God. Are you okay? Like, what's going on? You're so quiet. What's going on?
You're not
like,
smiling right now.
Yeah. And if we're driving and if she's just talking and like venting, I'll just like listen and, try to be as supportive as I can. And then she'll just be like, are you upset with me?
I'm an overthinker though, very much so. Like I think so deeply into everything that, I'm not used to your type of demeanor though, like all the time. Like I have been with more talkative people, and you are very like laid back, chill, man of few words. So sometimes I'm like, what's he thinking? Like I can't read you, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I try to figure out what's going on, and then I assume wrongfully that you're, mad or annoyed.
No, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I do space out, but most of the time I'm just trying to give you your rightful space to, be able to vent and talk and tell me how you feel without.
Yeah, I guess that's something. I don't know. Are all Australian men very like? No, I don't think they are. Like really, because you're very just quiet. I think that's just how.
I think that's just who I am. I'm so quiet.
Yeah, I think it's just.
So it's like.
But you do come out. When
when the time is appropriate, like I will speak up. There was one instance we're at the snow in the car park, and some bloke drove in a Mini Cooper, and he took his Red Bull. He drank his Red Bull, and then he just straight threw it out of the car window in the middle of the car park. And then I was like, he drove by and I was like, I think you dropped something back there. And he was like, what? I was like, I think you dropped something back there. And he was all huffing and puffing, and he went back over there and picked it up.
He starts pulling his phone out, but I was like,
he starts pulling his phone out. She's like, he's got a gun. I'm like, he doesn't have a gun. He started recording me, and then I was just like, dude, like, I don't know why you're recording me for. You're in the wrong. Made him go and pick up his rubbish, and that was it. But I'll speak up like that if I feel there's an injustice, and I will say something. I'm not just going to like turn a blind eye or let someone walk all over me. Like I'm quiet to a point. And then it's go time, basically. How do you say, what are those things you push your kid down the street in? It's got wheels and a handle. What do you guys call it?
A wagon?
What else is it called usually? We call them prams.
Wait, what?
You guys call them strollers.
Oh, stroller.
Yeah, it's a pram. We call them prams.
Yeah, a stroller. Pram.
Pram. And then obviously shrimp, it's a prawn.
I like how you're basically, everything we say is wrong.
You guys say button.
You short button. Button. Say burger.
Burger. They don't say the T's in button. Button.
Button. Button. Button. I feel like you shorten everything, like firefighters, fireys, ambulance,
ambos, police, dogs. They call them coppers. They call them coppers. She just put up a list of like different sayings in Oz, and most of them she's picked up on like just from being with me. She's
sometimes
picked it up.
I use your terms rather than
like
ours,
sometimes she'll start
'cause they're more
talking
fun.
Australian English, but some of them are aircon. Air
We
conditioning.
say air conditioning.
Alfoil. I've never called it alfoil. I've always said like, where's the foil? We just say foil.
Yeah. I think one of the first ones you taught me was Arvo. After
This
like
afternoon.
you meet up this
Or
with your friends,
afternoon.
you would say that, and I'd be like, "What are you saying?"
Yeah,
It's
tomorrow
afternoon.
Arvo.
Parking lot.
Yeah, car park. And I get shit for that too. I'd be like, it's in the car park, and people are like, oh my god, car park. You park your car there. It's the car park.
I mean, they both make sense.
And they say parking structure,
Parking structure.
multi-story car park.
Oh, that's a lot.
Devastated. I feel like Americans are
Devo?
slowly
Really?
starting to catch. Yeah, devastated, catching on to like, oh, he was so Devo. It's like, what?
I think
Devastated.
I've never heard you say that.
You've never heard me say Devo?
No. Petrol. That was another one.
Yeah,
that
petrol.
I
They
learned
call it
quickly
gas,
from
but
you.
it's a liquid.
Get some petrol at the
Servo.
I forgot it. Reckon. I reckon. You
Yeah,
said that.
reckon is a big
That's also
one.
like the South in America. A lot of people in the South say reckon, and that's something too. Like a lot of people in the South
Yeah.
have similar terms too.
Her mum's from Georgia, so she's from the South. I'm yet to go down there though, it's going to be sick. But
Yeah.
I've met people from the South and they've said reckon as well. And I'm like, whoa, where is this coming from? So it's cool to see that kind of transfer over.
You're welcome. They say no worries. So like sometimes
We say it's all right or no worries, and it can sound kind of degrading.
I
Not
don't-
degrading,
I don't
just
remember
disrespectful. Because you're supposed to say you're welcome or of course.
my mom hates, of course. I feel
Why?
like that's like
Does
not a boomer thing. Yeah,
Oh.
like that was more of maybe millennials that say.
I don't
"Of
know. It's
course."
Chick-fil-A. What do they say? My pleasure.
My pleasure. And the C word, like Americans
Yeah.
don't say that. I grew up, that was the worst word you could say, where it's just every other word for an Australian. Like
Yeah.
it's not a big deal at all.
No.
Which I obviously think cussing
Different
anyway nowadays
culture.
isn't,
Yeah.
seen as big of a deal because a lot of millennials understand and let their kids cuss. You see it all over social media. We call Butterface, you call...
Oh, there's a term with... It's a term towards...
This is a derogatory.
It's not
though.
derogatory. It's a
not?
term. I don't know. It's a term towards
like a
women. It's a woman that has
mean
a
term.
really nice body, but her face isn't that great. Americans call them
Butterface.
butterfaces. We call them prawns in
Just
Australia
everything but her face.
because you eat the body and you throw away the head. That's just an Australian thing. Take it for what you will, but they call them butterfaces. And the first time I said prawn, she's like, "What's that?" It's like it's a chick that's like got a nice body, but her face is blah blah blah. I think it's like Americans say like paper bag head or something else like
Really?
off hinge like that. Yeah, unhinged. Sorry, paper bag head or something. Put a paper bag.
We
head,
say like take out
terrible.
food. Like we're gonna get some. Wait, not take out.
No,
we
I'm
say
talking
take
about
out.
a
No,
woman that's ugly.
I'm
and
changing the.
Oh, okay,
subject.
we're changing.
I'm on
It's
the
gone
next
too
one.
on PC over here. Yeah.
No, like when we get food to go. Like
What do
we're
you
gonna
guys call it?
Get it to go, or we're gonna get some takeout.
Yeah, we just call it takeaway.
Yeah.
Same with what do you call the container that it comes in?
A takeout container.
A Chinese container in Australia. And then
Doesn't matter if it's Chinese food or not.
nah, what's the name of the game you play when you're a kid?
Telephone.
Chinese Whispers.
No.
Australians racist. What was the other one? I was like, oh, scissors, paper, rock.
Rock, paper, scissors.
No, it's scissors, paper, rock. I think it depends on where
and
you're from.
you play it differently too, don't you? We go
Scissors,
rock, paper,
paper, rock.
No, it's rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
No, we go scissors, paper, rock. But I think I've heard people from Melbourne call it rock, paper, scissors, and people from Sydney call it scissors, paper, rock. So I think it depends on where you're from in Oz. So there could be some relay there. I was going to touch on like when I first met you and everything. Like obviously working in a tattoo shop, a lot of people come in and you meet a lot of new people. And a lot of American women would come in, obviously, because women are the biggest consumers. So they would come in all the time. And once they would leave, all my coworkers, when I was single, all my coworkers would turn around to me and be like, "What's wrong with you, dude? Did that go right over your head?" Apparently, I'm just like really bad at telling when someone's flirting with me. I just take it as
Yeah.
like them being friendly to me and like making a joke. And apparently, like it's like.
Ivy said that about you too when she was explaining you. She's like, yeah, girls will flirt with him all the time.
I have
Like,
no idea.
He doesn't pick up on it. Like
No,
it just.
because I'm
like, that's a good thing.
It goes back to that whole humble Australian thing. Like I'm sure a lot of Aussie blokes would have been like, soaking it up. But for me, I'm like, oh, ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? I was honestly like when I first met her and she told me like, I grew up in LA and this and that and the other, I was kind of like, oh, okay. Because
you thought I was gonna be.
I thought she was going to be an
stuck-up
airhead because she was
yeah.
so hot, and because like you just seemed very chill and laid back when I met you, and so I'm like, oh, she's probably going to be an airhead. You know, she's probably going to be like, oh my god, yesterday we went to the bar,
or like a Valley Girl.
Yeah, and I was like,
really
oh, here we go. But then no, but she has quite a lot of depth.
Thanks.
In this little heart here.
Thanks.
So I'm very, very, very happy about that. It's good. We honestly we are.
I don't know if that
we
translated
are like
well in this
this.
video.
Yeah,
but
we are like this. Seriously though. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Inseparable.
Very much so.
We miss each other while we're in the same room.
Literally, I'll be like, I miss you, and
Yeah.
she'll be sitting next to me 3 feet away on the same lounge. So.
I'm like, I miss you, babe.
I don't know what else to say in this video. Cheers for watching. If you've watched it this far, make sure you hit up eveningmob.com if you want to support. Grab one of these trucker hats. I'm still giving away flags and stickers with every order. Comment down below something in Australian and I'll reply to you. Even if you just make
Don't be
the
too
word
harsh.
up. Yeah.
Towards me, please.
Why would they be
sensitive.
harsh? She's like, oh.
Because I'm not used to being online with
She
people
does, yeah.
to
She's
critique and
still
like,
growing thick skin.
honestly, I don't care.
Yeah.
Do your worst.
All right. Cheers for watching. I'll see you guys when I
Like,
see you
comment,
guys.
subscribe.
Yeah. What she said.